privilege today of not only being the groom's older brother, but his best man as well. Almost 11 years ago, Mike was my best man, and for anybody who was in attendance that day, I'm sure it'll come as no surprise that I have been patiently awaiting my revenge. Fornication. I'm sorry, let me try that again. For an occasion such as this, it's customary to thank the people who made this day possible. I'd like to start with our parents, Kathy and Al. Mike and I could ask for no better role models growing up when it comes to marriage and family. I've met very few people in my life who have not made a comment along the lines of, "Your mom is one of the nicest people we've ever met." And when it comes to my dad, again, they say, "Your mom is one of the nicest people we've ever met." So thanks, Mom and Dad. Next, I'd like to thank Jess's parents, George and Kathy. First off, thank you for your wonderful hospitality today at this beautiful reception. And second, thank you for welcoming Michael so warmly into your family. I've had the pleasure of getting to know George and Kathy as well as Jess's brother and sister and their families over the last few months. And I don't think Mike could ask for better in-laws. But even before we met them, we could tell Jess had a very similar upbringing to us just by the way she talked about them and the love she showed towards them and the type of person she is. So thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the littlest members of our bridal party today, Carson, Jackson, and Ellie. What can I say? I think we could have been a lot worse. I think they did a great job today. I'd also like to thank the groom himself. As I said, I'm the older brother. I'm older by about a little over 3 years, and I started to get a little nervous and self-conscious about this wedding party because I knew he put a lot of his good friends from Penn State in there, so they'd be younger, maybe in a little better shape. And then Mike asked our cousin Joe to be in the wedding party, and I didn't have to worry about either of those things. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. Mike and Jess are truly blessed to share this day with so many great friends and family. So what can I say about growing up with a brother like Mike? I think the easiest way to say it is that he made my childhood complete. Miserable some of the time. But I think that's why God invented little brothers, and I'm happy to say we outgrew that stereotypical big brother, little brother relationship and really became the best of friends. Here's where I could go on and on about how hard it must have been on Mike to grow up in the shadow of a vastly superior older brother in every way. But I'm better than that. There's no reason to bring that up at all on a special day. Part of me will always look at Mike and see him as that 8-year-old kid brother, playing in the yard, chasing me around, things like that. But I'm able to see past that and see the man he's become, and I couldn't be more proud. He's become a great blend of caring and compassion, humor and goofiness. And Jess has a lot of these same qualities, although at first, I was a little worried Jess wasn't quite goofy enough for Mike. But if anybody here has seen the picture of the two of them dressed as American gladiators from a couple of Halloweens ago, you know this isn't an issue at all. Jess has seamlessly become part of our family as she good-naturedly accepts all our jokes about Comcast and Boston University. I don't care what anybody says, Jess. BU, one of the top 10 colleges in the Boston area. No doubt about it. She has thrown herself into the excitement of giving my dad skin bracer and deodorant for birthday and Christmas. You can always count on Jess for a well-placed, you're going to smell good, as soon as he opens his presents. She's become a loving and adored aunt to Carson and Ellie, and she's become a great friend / daughter / sister to my mom and my wife. So finally, officially, let me welcome you to the family. And thanks for being patient, because we know it took a little bit longer than I think everybody was expecting. We took a family vacation to Disney World in October of 2006, and my mom was convinced that Mike would propose on this trip. Obviously, it didn't happen. A little under a year after that, we wanted Mike and Jess to be Ellie's godparents. We started to get a little worried because they still weren't engaged, and Jen didn't want to have to cut Jess out of all the pictures a couple of years later. So she made me call Mike and make sure we weren't misreading the situation. So I called him up, I said, "Mikey, we want to make Jess Ellie's godmother. Just want to make sure you're okay with that, make sure you kind of see her in the picture for the long term. Is that okay that we ask her?" I will never forget his answer. He said, "I don't care, do whatever you want. You can't put a price on love like that." Although after today, I think George has a pretty good estimate of what this love is costing me. So obviously, Mike finally did propose last October. And I won't go through the details. You can check them all out on JessSaidYes.com, as well as when they first met and their first kiss. And all I know from all that is that Mike obviously knew the answer to that question all along, and I think he knew the answer to that question from the minute he met her. A lot of people say marriage is all about finding that one person to live the rest of your life with. But really, it's all about finding that one person you can't live without. Mike and Jess have done that. So please join me in raising your glasses and congratulating Mike and Jess and wishing them a lifetime full of happiness, health, and love. To Mike and Jess, cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you, Brian.